Hello and welcome to Axis and Allies. Not quite. We've done a couple of runs of this already. Once as the Allies, once as the Axis, and I decided I'd like a little bit more challenge. We're already playing on the hardest difficulty there is. And last time we employed, the winning strategy of let's focus on killing Germany. The United States completely ignores Japan, and Japan completely ignores the United States other than Pearl Harbor, and genuinely they build factories and push inward and try and kill the Russians. Meanwhile, the Germans try and pinch. First, if they take out Russia, generally the Allies lose. Meanwhile, the Americans might clear the Germans out of Africa and then quickly, with the help of the British, round up the Germans and beat them into Germany. And by conquering all of Germany, and then as far as India, Japan is reduced down to 3 stars. And at that point, your opponent has whatever the required number is. I just know the enemy can only have 3 left. Yeah, and the Axis can win by bringing the Allies down to just London, Washington, and Los Angeles. These are the star locations. They don't need any of Africa or Brazil or anything. Just really they need to take out Russia. So in this game, we're going to make it harder on ourselves. And by that, I mean the Americans will not cross the Atlantic. We won't go into Africa with the Americans. We will not go into Europe with the Americans. We will do the Pacific campaign. It's very difficult. It's far from home. It's a logistical nightmare. Japan is right there at any time, ready to ruin you. And I'm not sure how to do it. We're going to need lots of islands and stuff, and a lot of this island isn't even worth productions. We might need bombers in Alaska or something just so we can harass them. Because Alaska's, well, I mean, as much as Midway is. Like, there are positions that you can fly out and blow stuff up. But anyways, let's jump right into the first turn, which is going to be pretty normal. In the game, you have a bunch of different unit types. They attack and defend at different numbers. And planes can attack, but they always have to retreat to where they were at the start of the game. That's the very basic rundown. The turn always begins with you buying your resources. For the Russians, you're not very wealthy. Your productions are not very high, so 8 infantry turn 1, and then getting a couple of planes can really help you have a little bit of kickback to defending yourself. So there we go. 8 infantry is our buy. Now we get to do our combat things. And we're playing with low luck, which means that generally the attack value is rolled for every individual unit, and it's always on a scale of 1 to 6, how likely you are to hit. If you only hit on 2s, then you have to hit on a 2 or less. But in low luck, you add up all of the numbers, and then you only roll on the remainders. So 2 planes, they both attack on 3s, they would add up to a 6. That is a guaranteed hit. Whereas a tank is a 3, so if we added everything up to a whole number of 6 and the tank that was all that's left, we would roll a die for the last hit, and the Axis returns fire the same way. We need 2 tanks to make sure we take Ukraine. Everything else needs to shove really hard into West Russia to make sure we crush this German advance on the doorstep of Moscow, basically. Could get nasty pretty quick. I always wonder if you could really try and take out Norway, but you'd have to send tanks and stuff. And then we also have this submarine. I struggle to get value out of the Russian sub other than putting it here to help the American fleet. So we'll just have to figure out what we're going to do with that. We also have all this Russian stuff to the east. I'm not sure how we're going to use it yet. But for now, we'll wait for the non-combat. Honestly, I can also send in a guy from Archangel. I don't need an extra person there. So we're going to do this move. Everything else on the east we'll do in the non-combat. So in Ukraine, this is the big battle. We hit on our 3. That is... Or no, they hit on their 3. And then we got 1 more hit against us. So we got pretty good. I've seen people win this battle before with an artillery and 2 tanks. I've also seen it lost. Right? Like, where you only have planes left. So sending the 2 tanks is definitely required. It just sucks because it gives the the Germans a high-value targets to kill, which they will definitely kill, and suffer very few losses along the way. And we took 3 losses taking there, which is fine. We're going to send our planes back to Russia. No, we're going to send our planes to... 1, 2, 3. Our planes to Kazakh? Because if they're in Kazakh, I can counterattack the Japanese in China. Not that I really want to do that, but it's an interesting option to have. And we're going to leave, skeleton crew defending the Far East. I do like shoving into Xinjiang. I find it helpful at helping get the Americans, the Japanese won't have enough to really shove through, and if we have a couple planes here threatening them, it means we can't use it on the Germans, which is where we need them, but we'll see. I really feel now like as if I should have gotten 4 men and a plane, which you can afford as the Russians, but I did not, so here we are. Basically. And they are attacking us in all... Oh! They're doing the killing our battleship move. That's interesting. So here, they're going to kill our British battleship with their Air Force and landing it in Norway. But if we remain with the sub, we can tank a hit, and we can potentially return fire on a 1. So it's worth doing. They hit us immediately. And instead of taking it on the battleship, we're going to take it on the sub, because the battleship has to be hit by the Air Force, which is the sketchy part. Did we... I don't know if we killed another one of their planes or not. Yeah, I think we did. So only their bomber survived. And importantly, their bomber is here. Which means that we can kill them. Ooh, and look at this stack in Karelia. It's kind of sketchy. I'm just trying to figure out if the Russians that are nearby could kill that stack using their 2 planes. We'd have to land the planes in West Russia, which means we'd have to bring our troops back together, but... Oh, man, it's always so hard being on the Russian side of the fence. They could also attack Caucasus with these tanks blitzing and their Air Force helping, so we gotta try and relieve this pressure immediately. I don't think it's worth sending a tank to Norway. I don't know what I'm going to do, because they could attack any fleet that I throw down with these... Their battleship. Oh my god. So, I said the Americans wouldn't cross the Atlantic, and by that I mean they will not cross or land in Africa or Europe and stuff, but I can fight in the Atlantic is what my reasoning was. I'm just going to make that clear now. Like, I don't intend on sending American ships up here and down here, but chasing submarines and stuff, sure. In the Mediterranean, no, that's a little bit too liberal. But C-Zone 12, for instance, I could attack that with some American bomber and maybe 1, 2, 3... If I throw down an aircraft carrier here as the British, I can land American planes on it, which is what I think I'll do. So, an aircraft carrier, a destroyer, and a second destroyer? No, and we need a transport, because we're going to lose one. Yeah. So we're going to place this in C-Zone 8 and have the Americans reinforce it with a plane. So British combat move. I'm going to take 2 infantry across. No, because I want to have an infantry and something to carry the next turn. Which means I'm going to waste a tank on this. It's a weird bit of logic, but it's what we're going to do. And And I honestly feel as though the British fighters are more valuable than their bombers, at least early on. So we're going to make sure that we attack them here with a fighter, and we're going to blow up this destroyer, and if we lose something, we'll choose to lose the bomber. We can't attack their subs because we don't have a destroyer, so our Air Force can't hit it. And next turn, they're going to destroy our transport, which really sucks. So this is the plan in Europe. I also really like sending this guy to Alaska. Now I need to figure out what the heck is going on down here. Like, they have so many planes that can attack me that it scares me. I like putting 4 people into India. I think I'm going to move my fleet to here and link up with this because I don't want to go through this location because I feel as though I'll just get whacked. And then I don't know what to do about this whole... They have 4 guys here, and I think 2 planes. I don't know. I can hit this territory thing and look. Yep, 2 fighters, 2 infantry. So anything in Anglo-Egypt next turn is going to die, so we may as well run away with our tank. Well, you know what? Yeah, they could attack with these 4 fighters as well. So anything we put here, if we put a large stack, like 2 planes, a handful of infantry, and the tank, it's all going to die. So instead, let's protect ourselves. I'm just trying to figure out where I want my army. South of the line or north of the line? Doesn't really matter. Just I could have my Transjordan dude walk up and these guys leave to the south. But I think Transjordan is more valuable. And then for now I'll just keep my planes with me. We also have this fleet down here. And we'll try and run away with it. And we'll try and take an infantry along with us. That way, there's a sub that could attack us very easily, but I think they'd rather have it in Hawaii. Wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I was expecting to use my bomber over here. And now I'm realizing I've already kind of committed it to this battle against this battleship. Uh-oh. This is going to get nasty real fast. Okay, well, this is where we're at. I can't think of anything else to do. We're trying to hold up in India as hard as we can. And, yeah, like, pray for me. Norway. We got them. And the Sea Zone. Hey, we got away without losing a plane. That's a huge win. So one of our planes we're going to put here over the water. Because that's where we're going to deploy our aircraft carrier and boats. It's not a very good fleet, to be honest. They could probably attack it with their subs and do some damage, but if we land the American fighter on it, we should be good. So done. Because I need a plane, a bomber, and that cruiser. Oh, look at them go. I'm not sure. Did they send the battleship? So far, it looks like we're doing okay with the battles. Oh, other than this. We'd like to submerge our submarine. So they sent very little to... oh, wow, we didn't hit them back. They didn't even send their battleship, and we missed. So they sent their battleship up here. Very questionable. Oh, I can't get there with my my battleship is why. Okay. So they could counterattack me in Hawaii really hard, but it's hard for me not to blow up their stuff, you know? 1, 2. I could almost do it just with the planes and the sub, though. But if I put in the battleship, it'll get smacked by their battleship here and their battleship here that can both go to Hawaii. We need more boats, that's for sure. We need an aircraft carrier, in fact, in C-Zone 55. And we're going to need more fighters. So this is going to be one of those weird first turns of, like, just 2 aircraft carriers and a fighter? We're going to need 2 aircraft carriers. But I think having the fighters up front is stronger. And honestly, just because I want a little bit more of a fleet in being, we get a destroyer. No, I think we start with a transport. Okay. Done. So the American combat move is we got to sink this battleship. And we can do it because this plane has a place to land on this aircraft carrier, which is where we need it to go. The bomber needs to fly back. These things need to die. And we will... Oh. I'm not going to bring these all the way through because I want to unite this fleet. And if these 2 transports are on this side in C-Zone 20, the submarine, if it stays and fights, or submerges rather, could just go ploop, ploop. Oh wait, no it can't. It's a little bit too far. Haha. Good. And then good practice, if you're ever stopping movement with your transports, drop the troops. Just so that if ever the transports get sunk, they don't die with it. 1, 2. Yeah, this is safe here. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's exciting for me. So these 2 planes will go here. Right? Yep. And then I'll send 2 infantry up to here and 2 infantry across and 1 infantry back. Sucks not to use this transport and stuff. I could empty out Midway, but I'd rather not do that. So yeah, the Pacific War. Like, we're doing this one battle in the Atlantic just to stop the whole African campaign, and then we should be good. Honestly, here's the thing. If we can crush this one army, then we will be safe in Africa until the Japanese come to take it over. And maybe as the British, we want to be flowing troops to Africa instead of Karelia, but then we have nobody helping the Russians, and that's a recipe for disaster. So not a very crazy fight, but these fighters have an auto kill on this destroyer, and that's all they can hit. And unless they hit us on a counterattack with this sub on a 1, we are guaranteed to kill them without really any losses. They might kill our sub. Yeah, alright. I've looked around enough, I think. Oh, Xinjiang, there we go. I want these American troops out of there. They're more useful than the Russian ones because you can use American Air Force with them. C-Zone 12. That's this battleship. We got him on the double hit, and he missed, so we didn't even lose our ship. That's super unlucky for him. And then American sub, please remain. We hit them on the stealth attack, so he didn't even get to roll attack back. I need to look at our history really quick. American purchased an aircraft carrier and 2 planes. Because I can land these planes in Hawaii, or I can land them on the aircraft carrier. But I think I'd rather them land in Hawaii. Ooh. They could bring 3 things to Hawaii, but then their fleet would get rocked. They could kill our planes, basically, but I'm willing to take that risk because it means we get to sink their fleet, and that's a big deal for us in the Pacific. This plane needs to land there, as discussed. This one in Panama? Central or Panama? Central's better because Western United States gets out. Yep. Okay. And then let's place our units. Fresh fleet right here. And then the planes can go there because we deployed an aircraft carrier. Whew! Interesting. I like it. So now we really need fighters as Russia, and we need as much infantry as we can get. What are we going to do with our moves? We could kill the Japanese in China. And the reason that's interesting is because then they'd only have one infantry here and one infantry here on the mainland, other than these guys. It would really set Japan back. And it terrifies me, but I think it's the right move, because we can go 1-2 to China, but then we're giving up a lot of land to the Germans. We probably still attack the Ukraine, but not with everything. Oh, it's sketchy. We're already on like the hard defensive here. But if we send these 2 guys and 2 planes, you know what? What about 3 guys and a plane? Because that's an auto hit for us on the first turn, and say an auto hit for them. And then it's 2 men and a plane against 1 man. It's a 5 against a 2. We should get lucky. It gives the Japanese something good to hit, but, you know, they have planes, whatever. They don't have that many men, so screw them. And India's safe for a whole turn, too. So that means that on this side of the fence, I'm just trying to figure out how much I could put into the Ukraine. Like, I mean, the question is kind of obvious. You'd send all but 1 or 2 of these guys. And then you'd send these 4 guys. And then we could move the AA gun in. And they could counterattack with... Oh, we can't do this? Because we'd have to land the plane in West Russia. And I can only get 5 guys there, and that wouldn't be enough. Alright, well, I think that means that we send 2 guys and an artillery here. We send a plane. Plane and how many guys? They have a hit back. Like, this is what I mean. Like, we're losing many more infantry in this fight than they are. And I think it's because I didn't get enough planes. Because this is basically a hit for us and a hit for them. If they get lucky, they could get 2 hits. And then they'd have a guaranteed hit against 3 infantry and a plane. I think I'm willing to take those odds. We still win. We're overcommitting a little bit in the sense that we could get lucky, but I don't want to bank on some luck. We could also send 2 infantry down to Persia, but I think that we're kind of already desperate. Like, the Germans start with so much, and they deployed 5 more tanks, which could all blitz through, and probably will. So we need this infantry here to counterattack that stuff, which means that we can't send the tanks to Novosibirsk. Well, maybe we can, because I'm thinking that we use the tanks to take back either Archangel or West Russia, which they can do from Novosibirsk. And they could also go to China if we have to, or Buryatia or something, if we need to push back and we want our planes elsewhere. So I think that this is fine. There's no more Russian sub. They killed it turn 1, so let's see what happens. And actually, I am so sorry. This is supposed to be episode 2, isn't it? I got too into the game. So I'm actually going to make a cut really late and make you wait till next episode to see how all this resolves. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.